We good? How do?
There you go, how do.
That's it's London. How do?
Tell them who you are, mate.
I'm BeeJay, 44 apparently. I just had to ask the missus there because I forgot I'm that old. And we're going to do this interview, yeah?
Well, we're going to have a chat, aren't we?
We're definitely going to have a chat, yeah.
Spoke to this geezer, interesting guy. He's got a story to tell. Before we start, first thing I ask you, I'd like to just answer again. What ethnicity are you?
Oh yeah, I'm Indian, English, Irish. One of my, I think, great-grandparents was colonised in India or something. He was Irish. And that's where my dad came from.
Yep.
And then mum's fully English from Old Colston, Croydon Way. And that's me.
Well, good. So, very brief history, you know, couple of minutes, and then we'll tell your story from today.
Yeah.
And away we go.
Oh, brief history. Grew up in London, early years, moved around a lot, Kent and Surrey. Started getting high at about 8, 9 on deodorant, body mist deodorant. An older guy showed me, you used to spray it on your sleeve and then breathe it in. So since then,
How's that work?
yeah, I don't know how it works, but it does. It's got something to do with the chemical for the spray or something.
Yep.
And then you breathe it in because it's, you know, it's like huffing gas or that sort of thing.
Yep.
But yeah, that's how it started, and then since then I've just been trying to be high all the time for no other reason. I enjoy it. I have no trauma. I just
Question then, again, that I asked you. So, would you class yourself as an addict?
Yeah. Well, I'm addicted to having fun. I was an addict when I did heroin for 2 years because you can't not do that shit. Like, you're stuck. If you don't do it that morning, you're ill. You're sick. You're ill. So you have to. That's addiction. There's a lot of different addictions, but I was addicted to having fun, which is weird because my old man was addicted to gambling, and I was like, oh, I'm never going to gamble because that's what they split up over. I was like, I'm never going to gamble because I don't want to be addicted from my dad's, you know, from an addictive personality. But instead, I got addicted to having fun with drugs and drinking and partying. It's just a different kind of addiction.
So, where are we going to start then?
Okay, I reckon probably just before I got sent to jail.
Sweet.
Alright, cool. Yeah, I wasn't drug dealing. I would call myself like a drug repackager. It would come in bulk.
Yep.
We'd blend it up, make 2 into 4, no, 2 into 8, so, or 1 into 4.
Yep.
And then it would go out around, well, everywhere.
What was that, coke?
Yeah, cocaine. That's what I got arrested for. They kept calling it crack cocaine in the paperwork, but it wasn't. It was just like pure cocaine, which no one believes is pure. Oh, hang on, before I carry on, I'm gonna say right up front, I don't condone any of this shit. I may look like I'm enjoying myself, but I had a good time doing it, but it's not the way. Yeah. So yeah, get the cocaine. We called it Cadbury's because it was flaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, get a bit of flake, and then chop it up with.
So, where did you get the money to buy that?
I was just doing the repackaging. It wasn't my company. Well, it wasn't my
company.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. So, basically, you're just sort of a part player in this,
Yeah,
as it were.
Yeah, kind of, but kind of not. It's people that I've been around since I was like 11 or something. We grew up
Did you
together.
get paid for doing that job?
I mean, I had a bit of money here and there, but mostly I got paid in drugs.
Yeah.
So I could be high. That's like why I did it, because I just love being high so much. That's why I started selling acid when I was a kid. You know, that's why I was doing all the criminal shit that I was doing, stealing and that, just so I could be high. Not because I was addicted to the actual drug, but because I was addicted to having fun.
People will find that difficult to understand, won't they? But when we first spoke, I remember listening to you on the phone, and I told you on the way down here, so I'm thinking, addict, or, you know, where do you sort of, where would you draw a line? Where would you?
Oh, I had a definite line, which is also mad ironic. I wouldn't inject. That's the only thing I wouldn't do. I wouldn't inject. And and it turns out, I had the time. I was trying to cut down on the coke and the drinking and that, so I slowed it right down, and I ended up in hospital. It turned out I had diabetes from a shock to the system from quitting.
Really?
Yeah.
What, type 2 diabetes?
No, it was type 1. That's why I was diagnosed with. I was in hospital for like 2-3 days. I had double cannula, pumping insulin in me because there was no insulin in my body whatsoever. I'd been at home for a few days, like just couldn't hold anything
down. How old were you then?
I guess I was in my 30s. But I wasn't. It was 7 years. I was on the injections, the insulin.
Yeah.
And then.
So did you nearly die when you were in hospital?
Oh yeah, no. They said if I'd have gone to sleep again that night, because they said if you'd gone to sleep tonight instead of coming in, you would have died diabetic coma. But yeah. So I stopped doing drugs, got ill because of it, and then had to inject, which is the one thing I had to avoid.
Yeah.
But
so where's that now?
Oh yeah. Basically, I was injecting for 7 years, and then I went to jail. Talk about that when I got caught and that. But when I went to jail, they were running my numbers. You know, the
checking your bloods and that. Yeah.
Doing the BMs and that.
Yeah.
And they're like, we don't think you've got type 1 diabetes. I'm like, oh, okay. But they tried to do the test, but you have to keep the blood chilled to get to the hospital to test it chilled, and they couldn't do it because it was like taxis to the hospitals. And they said, like, as soon as you get out, get them to do the test, which I did, and they're like, no, you're type 2.
Were you bigger, heavier? At the time, you know, when they had the diabetic shock or whatever.
Yeah, I probably was a bit bigger, but not a load. I mean, I've been big, I've been up, I've been down.
The only reason I'm asking that, right, some of the older people we've had in prison who were diabetics, as they've lost weight and got older, you know, they're more difficult to do the bloods, but the nurses would do the bloods and they weren't actually requiring insulin.
Yeah.
So I just... Because that's bizarre that you... Obviously type 1 diabetes is a killer, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. Well, yeah. Like, but yeah, also is injecting for 7 years and not, you know, when you don't need to, with the insulin, can turn you into a diabetic. So it's just like, none of it makes sense. None of it makes sense. But I think I'm like a medical mystery because I've been getting high so long and pushing my body into just everything. Like, stuff happens and it doesn't make sense. Like,
we're going to go back to this, but you did start at a very young age, didn't you?
Yeah. When I was about 8 or 9, like I say, on the old aerosols, and then later on, I think the first actual drug I did was pink champagne speed. Probably about 11, 12, something like that.
Jesus.
Because, well, it was like the start of the rave scene, you know? I love that.
90s?
Yeah, actually it was like, even before that, it was the start, end of the acid house. Late 80s, early 90s. And then, that was all around drugs, that.
Yeah, I just sort of bypassed that, what I was doing in my life. I never even touched on it, never been to a rave.
Yeah.
Never experienced any of that.
Oh, you missed out. You really missed out, man. That vibe was so fun. Well, when they invented ecstasy, when ecstasy got big, and the rave scene, everybody loves each other on ecstasy. And all the racial tensions from the 80s sort of got taken away. Everybody's in there loving each other, all ethnicities, all races, all everything. Just having fun and loving each other. I know it's chemically driven, but, you know, a lot of those people went on to be decent people because they fell in love with love.
Well, I will say my mate, he used to, I won't say he was a drug addict, he'd dabble. If he went to a party in the coke, he might take coke, and then it might be 6 months before he took it again. Yeah. He'd sometimes go out, have a drink, get a packet of fags, and then not smoke for 6 months again. Yeah. But he always said to me, he said it'd suit you, that ecstasy. He said, if you've got some good stuff, maybe start with half a tab or whatever, the way you are, it'd be good on it. But I think, or believe, I might have tried it once. I'm not sure what I tried. Forest Bank Prison, New Year's Eve. One of the officers, alas, wanted me to go out to a party. I was working next day.
Yeah.
Not having none of it. Years later, I found out that she spiked a drink.
Shit, that's not good.
I had no idea I'd had anything. I found out from a con. I thought he'd done it at the time.
Yeah.
But I had a couple of days where I thought I got flu, and then, you know, I didn't understand what was happening.
Yeah, it's completely different if you don't know you're taking it. Like, same as like every drug. If you get spiked, it's not the same buzz because you've got no idea what's going on. So it kind of fucks you like that. But
So, leading up to you getting arrested.
yes, I was very close to retiring. The idea was to retire before I was 40. Because I mean, all the time.
What do you mean?
No,
Retire?
Well, all the criminal activity I've done, I pretty much had a normal job as well. You know, I worked at Sainsbury's for 5 years.
I was going to ask you that, whether you just...
Yeah, no, it was just because I was partying. I was doing normal work. It's like if you don't want to get caught, have a job. Not that helps these days.
No.
But back then, that's what I figured. But I worked at Sainsbury's for 5 years. I started at Sainsbury's as a contract cleaner, 3 mornings a week, not employed by Sainsbury's, and then that was about 17 then. And when I wasn't cleaning, I would ask the manager if I could do anything for them, the Sainsbury's staff, and I would like line up all the tins on the shelves and stuff, make it all look really good. And they said, look, why don't you we want you to come and work for us full time. Right, cool. So I did that, and when I left there, when I got sacked from there, I was the warehouse manager, the overs manager, dealing with all the overs products and putting everything out to stock the shelves at night. That took 5 years to do that.
Was it the drugs that you got sacked for?
No, that's funny.
Were you reliable?
I was terrible for reliability, but I did a great job while I was there. I would always be right on the limit of the amount of sick days you're allowed to have.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was there, I just worked my ass off when I was there. So it sort of got me through being unreliable. So when I was there, I kicked ass every day, and that's how you move up the ladder, up the chain. But I think I was spiked as well when I got sacked, because it was like a Christmas party which they had in store up in the canteen, and in the middle of work day.
Yep. What?
In the middle of work day, passing around bottles of wine, eating your Christmas dinner, and
were you off duty or on?
No, on duty. Yeah, that was their thing. And I had a few glasses of wine. I don't really drink wine. Well, after that, I don't drink it at all. But yeah, I got like crazy. I ended up passing out the back in the yard in a controller trolley, like a pallet trolley, in the snow. And when they found me, my lips were all blue, my mouth was foaming.
They died of hypothermia.
Yeah, and I don't think a few glasses of wine would have done that, but yeah, I think I may have been spiked then. I don't know, but yeah. And then after that, a little period of not being able to find work, and then I worked at a factory just doing electrical stuff, just plugging this into here and clipping that wire there. It was a terrible job. Good people, but terrible job. And then because I was the last in, they were cutting back staff, so it was last in, first out redundancy. Yep. I had a little time off then, and I applied to be a nightclub manager in the Grasshopper in Westram.
Where's Westram for a Yorkshire lad?
Surrey or Kent? No, Kent, I think. Kent. But yeah, I applied for that job with no qualifications other than I'd been raving for a long time, and a bit of DJing and MCing, and I impressed the owner in the interview, and he said, look, we're going to take someone else as honest manager, but you will be under him, and he will teach you the job, and he's not planning on being there long, and then it'll be yours. So I did that for a year, I think. Mostly just clearing glasses in the club and doing functions, because the whole place had lots of different. It was like an old Tudor building, like the original part of it was an old coach house, and so there was like a normal pub bit, there was a restaurant, actual restaurant bit, there was a carvery, and then there was a nightclub as well. There was like 6 different bars in the place, and yeah, I was mostly just collecting glasses, doing the glasses. And then the next thing you know, he's left, and he's been teaching me the whole time. I'm nightclub manager. So I did that for a while.
How was that? Were you still like using drugs for partying and?
I don't know, more off the drugs at that point. Actually, I think that was like a part of the heroin time. Yeah. I mean, we were still doing the cocaine and stuff, but
Yeah.
not in any mass amount.
When you were an heroin addict, were you a functioning heroin addict?
Functioning as in I took it and then I could get on with my day.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but my day didn't consist of much other than taking heroin. But yeah, same as.
Would you think Trainspotting as a film is as close to the sort of being addicted to heroin? I know it's a film, but you know how it's mad crazy and.
I tell you what, I loved that film before I started heroin. Now I can't watch it.
Really?
Because it's that close to it.
Really?
It's that close to it. I can't watch it. The same as Human Traffic. Even though it's a lovely film, it makes me go up and down like I've taken drugs. Because it's all happy at the start, you're like raving away,
Yeah.
and at the end it's all depressing. I had to stop watching it because it was doing that to me without drugs.
So the heroin thing, how did you get? Again, were you smoking it then? If you were injecting it,
Yeah, just.
And
on the
how did
floor.
that come along?
Basically, just after I left Bletchley, heroin kicked in there. So like a lot of my friends from there were on it, and
Socially, what I mean is, these people, you know, who fall into that misfortune and all that, but there were a period of time when people started using it, although it's not socially acceptable. People I knew, 2 people I knew died, you know, within 6 months of each other. Just announced to me that they were just taking it at weekends. I'm like, what are you fucking doing?
yeah,
Started taking heroin, and then jobs went,
yeah,
everything went, relationship went, and they're gone.
yeah. But yeah, no, that I wasn't there. I'd already moved away. But I know that that's when everyone started it. And then like my best friend, my brother, not blood brother, but you know, my brother, he was on it. After I'd moved away, we didn't talk for a little while, a few months or whatever. And then I called up his house, spoke to his stepmum, I suppose that was what you call her, and she said that he's in jail. So I stayed in touch, started writing letters and stuff. I was 18, so he would have been about 19. But then, yeah, after that, when he came out, he was on that. And
Did he use inside then?
I don't know if he
You
did
don't
decide.
know.
We never spoke about that, but I know he was using before, so probably. But the way it went, because I didn't know what heroin was like then. I was at one point, because I could see it messing him up,
Yeah.
and I'm like, look, if you're going to keep doing it, I'm going to do it. Thinking he would go, no. Anyway, I did it. Then I'm an addict. You know, if you don't take it, you get ill. You get sick.
How long?
I did 2 years of that. 2 years of that.
How long did it take you? You know, after your first time, was that it? You were hooked?
Yeah. Basically, like, I mean, the thing is, it isn't even like a great buzz. You're not happy. You're not partying, but you're not thinking. You're not thinking about any troubles anywhere. Only thing you're thinking about is getting that heroin though, and it's awful.
So it's not the best buzz you've ever had. It's
Nope.
not.
Nope, it's nowhere near the best way. It's not even a buzz. You just don't care about anything. You just shut down, and sometimes that feels amazing, you know. But as soon as it runs out, it's the worst feeling you've ever had. Ever. There's two two drugs I would say not to fuck with. That's heroin and spice.
Yeah, but spice, we're doing a bit about that, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Spice is probably worse than heroin now.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Oh god, yeah.
Certainly
Since
the epidemic,
they keep changing
the
all the
price.
they keep changing all the parts of it, don't they, to get round the law, and then now they banned it anyway. So there's no government or regulations.
Well, this is what I've said. You had a chance when they were selling it £5 a bag to regulate it, so at least they had some control of what was in it or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas going, no, it's illegal, bam, underground, and away you go.
Yeah.
50 times stronger than the shite.
That's completely disgusting, that stuff. I did try it twice in jail. First time, I got so pranged out. It was when I just got
I'm
there.
fine with that. Let's get into jail. Tell us how you got caught.
Oh, how I got caught.
And then we'll go through the...
Yeah, so we were getting our coke from some people that were running around Tunbridge Wells way, and they had another on them. I've been messing around with this and that since like I was 13 or whatever, like doing dodgy bits and pieces. But these people were on the radar.
You did say that you always knew at some point you'd go to prison, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely. I was like, one prison sentence is like, it's gonna happen.
Inevitable.
Yeah, inevitable. But
did it
two
not
would
scare
be
you?
dumb. Oh, scared the crap out of me. I was scared of two things: sharks and jail. Sharks and jail. I'm still scared of sharks, but I faced jail, and I wouldn't recommend you go there to anyone. That place is awful, like just so bad. But it's not as bad as I thought. I was thinking it was bad in a different way. I was worried about, backdoor bandits.
Yeah. About being sexually assaulted and things like that.
That's right, yeah. But luckily, I didn't get any of that. But I still... That one thing jail definitely taught me is I'm never going back.
Well, that's good. So, the people that you were getting were being watched?
Yeah. So, they were being watched. I dropped off some money to one of them. And they were watching them, so then they started watching me. They were watching me for about a month. I dropped off about 50 grand to this guy in a car. Oh, actually it was his mum that came that day.
Not your money though, that?
No, not my money.
You're like you were cutting the stuff, you're running the money as well.
Yeah, it's not my money. I was just doing bits and pieces to help out, just so I could party. But they pulled the lady over, pretended that it was a random stop and they could smell weed, found the money. Then I got the call saying, this has happened. I'm like, I'm next. I'm talking to people, so it's like, there's no way I'm not next. So for a month or so, nothing. Didn't do anything. And then it was time to go to work.
We're paranoid?
Definitely for a few weeks. But it's not paranoia if it's true.
Good point. But were you like, were you coming out your doorway and...
Yeah. I was always like that anyway, because you got when you're doing stuff like that, you always got to check your shoulders. But yeah, after that...
Do you think the lower down the chain they are, the worse it is?
As a worker?
Because people at the top, they're far removed from that, aren't they? They're not doing... You're running the money.
Yeah.
You're cutting the drugs. Other people are distributing it. The people at the top are...
Sorry. Well, yeah, definitely lower down the chain. It is worse. But, I mean, it's a different ball game now. Even if I hadn't been to jail, I wouldn't be in this now. Because it's gang and violence and setting up by your own people so that you end up having to pay back stuff that they took and gave you and took back. It's a different animal now. But yeah, it was okay. It was okay for me, but the thing is conspiracy. You can be the lowest thing on the totem pole, and on the conspiracy,
when you stick a conspiracy on,
yep,
which isn't actually...
you're the same as the same as the baddest man on it.
You get hammered, don't you?
Yeah, that's what they got me, conspiracy.
To supply?
Yeah, conspiracy to supply and money laundering, because I hand over that money.
So, when they've got you, bang to rights, what were you looking at? Your barrister, your legal team, what did they say you were looking at?
They were saying I was looking around sort of 8 or 10, I think. I sort of switched off at this point. All I know is that...
Were you bailed?
Oh, that was a mad one, yeah, I forgot about that bit. When they got us, because they thought I was just the money guy, and then all of a sudden we've got boxes and boxes of coke around, they didn't have the right officers at the station to question us. And because there's a time limit, they couldn't get there in time. So, no comment, no comment, no comment. Run out of time, set free.
Bailed?
Yeah.
Did they bail you?
Yeah, get bail, got bail. Bail was just under a year, I suppose.
And how bad were that? Knowing what were coming?
It was awful. It was awful, especially seeing as, you know, my boy ran. He went to Thailand, I think. So I had no contact with him. And I'm there with, you know, suddenly, you know, no drugs, no money, no friends. Just waiting to go to jail.
Are you like a Judas once you're on bail?
Well, no, I didn't really mess with them people. That was part of the whole thing, you know. I did my bit.
Because you're on bail, did people keep away from you? That's it. No one wanted to know you or whatever.
No, because I mean the people I knew where I lived,
Yeah.
they didn't know what I was about because they didn't go out where I lived.
Yeah.
If I was going to go out for a night out, it wouldn't be in my town. In fact, after I got arrested and I was on bail, I started going to the local pubs, and people were like, "Have you just moved here?" It's like, "No, I lived there 17 years."
Oh, right.
Because I just didn't do shit in my own town.
Yeah.
Because so you keep yourself safe. So, yeah, they thought I'd just moved there. But, yeah.
So when you're at prison?
The bail was still ongoing. I was having to report a lot to the police station every day for a while, and then every week for a while.
Yep.
Luckily, my neighbour, Robin, helped me out with that. He was a good man, and he was driving me around because I don't drive, I don't have a licence. So it was either that or go straight to jail, and he helped me out with that. But I went to jail in 2014. I was smoking when I went in.
Yep.
Got to the reception, and they asked if I was a smoker. I said nope, non-smoker, because I didn't want that hassle in there.
Yep.
So I didn't smoke for the 4 years.
That's good advice for anyone who's going to prison.
Yeah.
Even though it's no smoking now.
Yeah.
You still get tobacco. If you smoke, you're going to get in debt.
Yeah. Don't mess around with people in there. Like, be yourself in there.
Good advice. That's what I always tell officers. Be yourself. Don't try and be somebody you're not.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you're an arsehole, you're an arsehole. You're going to get the shit wherever you are. But if you're a good person, just, you know, be yourself. That's all you need to do. And then, so I was in there for that.
Can you remember when you first went in?
Oh,
reception.
Yeah, no, I can remember it vividly. I remember when we got out of the station, I didn't know who was there because the only person I knew was gone. These other people, I didn't know. Just dropped money to them.
Yeah.
So we're on the sweat box, and I'm not going to say his name, but one of the guys was crying. And I remember the people driving the bus told him, like, you know, they were nice. They were like, look, don't worry, it's not going to be as bad as you think. It's like, because they knew it was his first time.
Yeah.
But it was my first time too. But I just listened. That's what I do. I listen and then react.
Yeah.
But we got there, go through reception, get all your things taken from you, get strip searched.
How bad was that?
It's awful. It's just think about getting naked in front of people you don't know.
Yeah.
And you don't know what they're like as a person, what they're gonna do.
It's possibly, you know, on reflection, I look back at that now. As an officer, it's something you had to do. It weren't a pleasant job, but now looking at it and imagining it from somebody else's point of view, and I have asked other people, it must be horrendous.
Yeah. I mean, you're scared anyway because all the stories you hear about it, and the next thing you know, you're in there naked. It's not a good feeling. It's terrible.
How many days before, not you were comfortable, but it became normal? Prison.
You know, I don't I don't remember anything date-wise or how long things took. I barely even remember the things, you know, you call stuff in there, because I was just in a zone in there.
Did you use drugs inside?
I was doing some prescription stuff. What were they called? The painkiller ones.
Were they an opiate or something like that? No.
It was the one that didn't show up in a piss test. Gabapentins.
Gabapentin.
Yeah, I would swap a bit of, but I'd buy a burn on my thing every week.
Were you down south?
I was on Isle of Sheppey in Kent.
Right.
The Sheppey cluster. They got, because I was on remand for a year and a half.
Yep.
So they got that there, and it's like sort of CB jail. So I did the year and a half on the C.
Cat B.
On the B,
Yeah, Cat B.
And then once I got sentenced, I went to the C, which is on the same site, but
Yep.
also there they've got the D cat
Yeah.
and like the really bad A cat. I can't remember its name, but it's infamous.
So it's got everybody
Yeah, everybody.
under one roof, pretty much, or on the same site.
Yeah, and you don't know who you're around. To be honest with you, it's not like the old days where
Might have gone cold that low. Thank you.
sorry, I talk a lot. But yeah, it's not like the old days where it's like prisoners look after each other. You know, wrong ones get sorted. Not much.
Well, you know, say you got locked in 214, I sort of did my last shift in 215. Most other prisons had already changed. They were short staff, you know, a lot of bang up and that. I think Hull were one at first. It Strangeways, it was like, you know, one day, February, all good, 215. March 1st, bam.
Yeah.
Everything changed. Became hostile, both sides at door. Just a different place, world of shit.
Yeah.
So you served your time in that. When did you get out then?
I got out. I think it was 2018.
So what sentence did you get?
I got 11 and a half years before my reduction for an early guilty plea, which took me down to 8 and a bit, I think, or just under.
So what did you actually serve?
I served just like 2 months shy of 4 years, and I'm still on licence now.
Was there a lot of bang up?
Actually, I got quite lucky with bang up, because it's local, you know, temporary.
Yeah.
The bang up was alright, but what I did figure out is that everybody's going, you need to get to real jail, get to a proper routine. Everybody's saying that, and this jail's this and this jail's that. But because I was there for a year and a half,
Yep.
people I knew were coming back for their confiscation orders,
Yep.
and they were like, do not go to a proper jail. Like, this is so much better here. So I did. I got on sick, couldn't be moved. Well, I was because of my diabetes anyway. but-
Medical old.
Yeah, medical old, that's the one.
That's the one, guys. A lot of prisoners on medical old can't go to other prisons, even if they need to do coursework and that. It's up to the local authority to get them sorted,
Yeah.
fit and well, before you can move them on.
Yeah. So I made sure I stayed there. I didn't even go DCAT, which was just across the road, because everybody's going, yeah, over there, the staff do not respect you at all. They want you to go back to C. So they'll talk to you worse, you'll be treated worse, and you'll get kicked back. So I heard a lot of people say that, so I stayed there.
So you stayed most of your jail in the same place,
All
got
of
to
my
know
jail.
people.
All of it.
So you got to know people,
Yeah.
got to know the staff.
Yeah. One guy came in like 4 times while I was there. You know, there were a few people like
Addicts.
that. Violent. Not you know, not drug, more drink. Yeah, more drink-related violence. As soon as they get out, they have a drink, get leery. You know how it goes. Have a fight, come back jail.
Did you learn anything from prison?
Shit.
No, you're alright.
That's alright. You were
Same as
telling me,
yeah.
you were telling me about that earlier with the coffee. Yeah, I learned in prison. I learned that freedom is more exciting and a better feeling than any high you could ever have, or any amount of money you could ever have. Time is worth everything when you don't have it. And
You can't put a value on the time you spent in jail.
all I know is if I didn't go, I probably would be dead. And
Is that because your addiction or
well, yeah, because I mean, I was just partying non-stop. I was high for. I'd stay high on coke for like 4 days straight, day and night, and then I would fall asleep for a night, and then do it again, for years.
I don't think people realise how dangerous it is, sleep deprivation.
Oh God, yeah, that messes with your
You know,
mental
you
health
can
big
go-
time. Yeah, I'm on all kinds of tablets now because of it. You'll believe stuff that you wouldn't even think you'd ever believe. Sleep deprivation. It's not fun.
Did you ever get bullied in prison?
Actually, I didn't. I was, like I say, because I was being myself. The one thing I thought before I went in that time when I was on license, I thought I'm not going to let prison change me as a person because you know, you hear the stories about
Thank you, love.
about everyone, you know, acting there, and you know, you can't trust anyone or borrow anything or lend anything.
Is that going into it? What are you in your head? What you thinking?
Well, in my head, I'm like, I'll do what I can to survive, but I'm not going to let them change me inside as a human being. I like doing things with people. I like helping people out, and I mean, I think it came off in there that they got that I was honest. I wasn't pretending to be anything. If someone wanted to borrow something, I'd lend them it. People would lend me stuff in, you know, without asking for double bubble after a while.
That's a trust thing, isn't it? You see what you're saying. Did you see the BBC drama?
I haven't
Time?
seen it, no.
Right. Okay. So I did a couple of reviews on it, but I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna finish it off. I'm gonna do a final review. I've left it a while, but I think people going in, or a lot of people think that. I always tell people not to borrow anything. Obviously, you know, in my time, I've seen lads give stuff to people. If lads had got, and people who had not, they would give them stuff.
Yeah.
Not wanting it back, you know, and as a whole, people didn't get in trouble. If they're the self like you, just being yourself, did you find your own sort of social group?
Yeah, to be honest with you, a lot of the lifers, they thought I was a lifer, which was weird. I had a short sentence, but because, I don't know, I just...
These guys been in a long time, you know, more not on top, settled into it. Well,
yeah.
How would you put it?
Well, I think it's just a state of mind. It's like, you're in there, you know why you're in there, you're not blaming the world for being in there, and you're not worried about when you're going to get out so much. So you just sort of flow around easy around the jail, and you see people like that, you know. Game recognised game, I would say, but like finds like. And I knew I deserved to be there. I knew it was going to happen at one point, and I knew I wasn't going to stop being a kind person while I was there. Obviously, I wouldn't lend someone I couldn't afford to get back in case they were an arsehole.
Yeah.
But if they turned out to be an arsehole, then yeah, you go enjoy what you took and don't pay back. Don't ever speak to me again. And I think that helps in there, you know. Just, there were so many people whose sentences were so hard because they didn't think they deserved to be there. They were blaming everyone. And like 6 months of that, it ruins them. More than, you know, years for someone who knows that they're supposed to be there, and they're like, okay, I fucked up. This is my shit.
Yep.
When I get out, I sort it out. Even those who don't know they're getting out, they're like, okay, well, I make the most of this. But all the little boys with the little sentences, blaming the world for being in there, they're the ones that keep coming back.
True. So it doesn't stop that, but it's an interesting point that you say, you know, accepting, you know, that you've done something wrong or whatever, that's why you're there. It's got to be a lot easier on the mind and stuff like that. And to be honest, when I think now, K-Wing was a massive wing at Strangeways. It was a man wing, but you had everything on there.
Yeah.
You had lifers on there. You know, people who've been in dispersal prisons, long-term prisons, and the stuff like that. But the lads, a lot of the lads that kicked off, or were kicking off, you know, before the sentence, and when they got the sentence, were on the whole, young lads, and trying to convince the world that
The world's against them.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, I guess that would be that'd make a difference to how you approach your sentence as well.
Definitely, yeah. It changes the whole dynamic of the place. It changes how you view the place, how you do your time, how people view you, how the guards are going to treat you, everything.
How would you, having been there, if I give you an opportunity, boom, you're on a stage in school with an appropriate audience of school kids, what would you try and get across to them about prison or criminality or drugs? I know there's quite a lot there, but what would you be if you start with drugs? What would you say?
I would say if you want to do it in moderation, if you want to see what it's like, do not heroin and not spice, because you can't come back from that. If you're doing it for fun, that's cool, but you can also die the first time you try it. So that's a decision that they need to make, whether it's worth that. That's only something that they will know. And as for prison, shit, yeah. I mean, I had like a fairly good time, not good time, like not a hard time, but it was the worst thing I've ever done. Worst mistake ever. Like that punishment for that.
Can you understand? Right, I've met lads who I've known a long time, who are career criminals and who are very matter of fact that they may well never stop. The whole of their life going in prison, but they almost seem to be able to accept the fact that prison is part of their, so there's lads who've done 4 decent sentences who are still involved in criminality, and they just accept that. Can you see how they do that, or is that next level mentality?
Yeah, I think it's a mindset that I can't actually sort of fully understand. I met a lot of people like that in there. They were in, and they were like, as soon as I get out, I got a new plan. And they say it's like a college for criminals. You can learn a lot of stuff in there, and you
make
can
contacts.
Yeah, and you can apply it to your life in a bad way to do some more shit that's going to get you in there, or you can use it as lessons to not do that shit and not go back. This is very different. They're a very different breed of people. I knew a guy in there, Timmy. Shout out to you. He was a career. He was in and out a few times while I was there. He'd been in and out his whole life. He hadn't had a good life. But we sort of came friends in there, and we talked for a while. And he's like one of the 2 people I stayed in touch with after we got out, and he's doing amazing now. He's a chef. He's got a missus with kids and stuff, and he's not going back.
You see, the lads who were in it for me, I've had the vast majority of them have had life-changing things. Like they've had a kid, the missus said, "You go back, that's it, you're done."
Yeah.
They've got some sort of real purpose or whatever. I think the vast majority of them, though, it's going out and not being able to earn a crust and look after the loved ones. Or I know a lad now. He's been out a good few years, and we had a conversation the other day, and he's saying, I know I could go and get money. Yeah, I'm struggling now. I'm on my arse. I can't see any opportunities. I can't see a way through it.
Yeah.
I can't see how I'm going to get a job. He's got, one of these. He has to declare it for the next 10 years or something. His criminality, and he's, even though it knows that. So it's like almost hopelessness.
It really is. When I got out, I was lucky. My mother let me stay with her. We've never been close all my life. And she messed it up while I was there. But yeah, when you get out, you have no money, you have probably no ID, and just to get ID, to join a doctor's or have a bank account, if you have nothing, if it's all been taken away, like your passport's run out or you don't have a driving license, you have no money to pay for that shit, like none.
And you got into 18, did you?
I think it's about then.
So resettlement, that's a big thing. I don't know a lot about resettlement, but it's basically giving people the skills and helping them get out and settle,
Yeah.
is it not? I think that's a bit of a postcode lottery. There's some private prisons, you know, if you go back 15, almost 20 years,
Yeah.
we're getting people bank accounts. So
Yeah.
if someone were getting out, they were getting a bank account, like you said,
Yeah.
that's massive, isn't it?
It absolutely is.
So do you feel that 218, and it's not that long ago, that really you weren't given anything?
No, not a damn thing.
I'm not on about money and stuff like that. But
nothing. No one giving any help. I asked what's going to happen when I get out.
Yeah.
What can I do for this and that? And you know, they don't tell you. It's like, well, you're going to have to sort that out when you get out.
Did you not have to go to a hostel then, a bail hostel?
No, because I went straight to my mum's place. I stayed in the CCAT instead of going DCAT.
Yep.
And then when I got released, I could go straight to hers because it's a permanent address.
Yep.
And I was cool. But if I'd have been let out to go to a hostel, I would probably be back in there. Like, even though I'd never want to go back in there, I don't think you'd have a choice because you have nothing. You have no money, no way of eating or living or anything. And what are you going to do? You're going to commit crime and end up back in there at some point.
You are. You see, two schools of thinking. Yeah, a lot of people think, well, you know, you deserve that or whatever, and why should we give you this and why should we give you that? Me, now, I think, while other people are repeat offending and going back, yeah, that aside, you're just creating more and more victims.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, if someone comes out and goes back to armed robbery, more victims, more victims, more victims.
Yeah, you're not shown how to get on with life afterwards because it's completely different from life before, and you're not given that.
Can you imagine if you'd been locked up for 20 years coming out? You know how much the world's changed.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like, I felt like I was coming out to a different world when
After
I come
4
out.
years.
Yeah, like people were talking about empaths and Wickham, and that didn't happen 4 years ago. It really felt like a different world just after 4 years. You know,
And they're just social things, aren't they?
Yeah,
Not about...
and like the whole you know, gender and gay issues and all of that. You know, I've met more like gay and lesbian people since I've been out than I ever met in the last 37 years of my life.
Yeah.
Because it's the world's changed. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. That's a good thing that people can be open about that. But it's hard to get used to.
While I'm thinking on, because I'm a bit scatty like that, when you were raving, had they got
smile on my face.
then the tents where you could have your ease tested?
No, not when I was doing it.
Was that after?
I think they started doing it before I went to jail, but I wasn't raving then anymore. I was
Do you
partying
think
at home.
that, you see me, I think that's a good idea.
Absolutely.
Some people, you know, parents maybe, would be thinking, you know, I don't want my kids taking that shit. I'm thinking...
Make sure they're safe.
Yeah, if you're going to take something, like you said, moderation, keep away from this. If you're going to try it, you're going to try it, but
yeah,
it's better to be taking something legit or
yeah,
whatever.
something, you know, I mean, the drugs these days are nowhere near like what they used to be like. And going back to the spice thing, if someone did a spice testing kit, you know, it's $1 million idea.
Do you know what? They've got issues with spice in prison, other testing. I don't know whether they've got a test yet for it. However, for me, being able to test for it isn't a problem. You don't need to test for it. When someone's off their head,
yeah,
passing out, throwing a whitey, becoming violent.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't mean test if you're on it. I mean test what it is you're getting, what you're about to smoke. Same as you're testing for the pills.
Well, I think, like you said, some of this shit that's out there now
God, yeah.
Is...
Yeah. I wouldn't even risk anything these days, other than a bit of homegrown or whatever. But nah.
But how, you know, for you, I know it's putting you on the spot a bit, and everyone don't have the solutions. How would you, if you could, if you were like, you know, made Prime Minister or whatever, what policy would you have regarding drugs? The big issue is a lot of people go to prison, like in America, for minor drug offences, don't they? They get short sentences, which everyone knows don't work. Come back out, back in, back out, and every time they come out, more victims, back in.
Yeah.
You know, people talk about legalising everything.
Yeah, no, definitely not that. Definitely legalise weed. Just create that industry, because it will save all the whole country, basically, all the debt we have and all the homeless problems, like all of it. If you legalise weed, the money you'd make off it would help a lot. And no one ever gets high and goes out and starts a fight. Never. You just want to chill to yourself.
Some of the stuff is a little quite a bit stronger.
Yeah, no, yeah. If you're messing around with sprayed weeds and that, but you wouldn't need to do that if it was legalised.
So if
you
it was like your pharmaceutical grade,
exactly. Yep. I mean, you can get CBD oils and that now.
Yeah, of course you can.
So if they just legalise that, it would take a big chunk out of everything. Every bad thing, it would take a chunk out of. But yeah, legalise that. That's for a question.
No, I'm just saying. What would you? How would you?
I do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Legalise weed. Just cut down all the prison sentences. You can use it to make revenue for the country, and there's no such thing as a gateway drug. There's gateway people. Some people will do something and want to do more of everything else. Some people were just happy to do that. But weed isn't one of them. If there was one, it wouldn't be weed.
Do you think it's an individual thing? Because when I was growing up, and I mean really young, you knew people smoked pot, as it were, yeah. Or whatever in the 60s and stuff like that. However, the consensus, I was always told, you don't smoke cannabis. If you smoke cannabis, you'll then go on to it, and then you'll do heroin. So people thought that everyone who smoked cannabis was going to become an heroin addict, where it's a lot different to that, isn't it?
Oh, well, it's not what you think. It's not like that. There's people that want to do that, and there's people that don't. Like you say, it's an individual thing. Like, everybody's not the same about anything in any other subject in the world. We're individual people. Some like this, some like that. Some people will become addicted, some people won't. I don't know whether I'm not sure whether it would be better to let everybody know that it's an individual thing, or scare the shit out of them, saying if you do that, you'll become that. I don't know that. That's something.
Do you not think that's more difficult now though? Because you could have done it when I was a kid in school, but now everyone's got a phone. Well, they're not a phone, are they? Everyone's got a bleeding computer. Yeah. So, kids. If we tell everyone if you smoke weed, you're going to become an heroin addict, trying to scare them.
Yep, they can look online. You can find anything, can't you, online? But there's a lot of false information as much as there is truth, and it's about your ability to decipher between the two. Which is individual.
Yeah, but a lot of people are not getting that. They're not understanding that, are they? I've been to parties, right? I told you, I've only ever, when I was younger, smoked a bit of weed, grass. Let's call it grass, and then you know what I mean, don't you? Yeah, grass, bit of Rocky, bit of Lebanese or whatever. Yeah. I've been to parties where there's like a dinner plate full of Coke. I've no idea what the value of that will. It will have quite a high value, I think. Yeah. The people who were hosting the parties, it was there for everyone, and loads of people. I never thought, I got me John Smiths or me Tetleys, walking around with me 4-pack taking that. Yeah. So, I made them choices and that. Yeah. But do you believe in the addictive personality?
I believe in the addictive personality. Yeah. I think education is probably the better way to go. But like you say, with the internet, a lot of fake stuff will be out, or false information. So yeah, I mean, if you could find a regulatory board that wasn't governed by left or right people.
Yeah, but do you think anyone cares now? I wish I could remember his name. He was a copper. He's been at the top 4 years. Yeah. And he said, after 30 years of policing, starting at the bottom, being involved in drugs and everything else, we've got it completely wrong in this country, right? So he's been in the game. Yeah. He knows all about it. There's plenty of people out there who have been involved in it, working undercover. And the people that we lock up are the people at the bottom. Yeah. People like yourselves, not the people at the top. If you remove them at the top, the new people become more violent.
Yeah. It really does happen like that.
But it doesn't seem like anyone He's interested. Like, it's not even a problem.
Yeah, it's only a problem if it affects you, you know?
Well, that, in life, this is what I'm saying. This
Yeah.
is what I'm saying. People, on the whole, for me, it's the victim thing, right? If more and more people are going to prison, you've got more and more victims.
Yeah.
So you need to stop that, and you know, you're helping people here. But again, people aren't interested. If you haven't got a loved one in prison or whatever, they're not interested about our prison system, which is going down the pan. It's only if things affect you, isn't it? You're not bothered about noisy neighbours unless you get one.
Unless you get one, yeah. It's definitely like that. I think also that, you know, because of the villainization of it, like, because it's all lumped together.
Villain. I like that word.
Because of his, I don't even know if it's a real word. I make stuff up.
No,
I'm a songwriter. That's what I do.
Yeah, I do that, so that's all good.
Yeah, but I think because people are so scared of it, people don't, even like people who have done it as a kid, they don't want to talk to their kids about it in case they, you know, give them ideas. But if the information was just so easily out there, you know.
I think that's the whole problem. That you know, I'd love road shows to be in school twice a year to every age group. Obviously, delivering to really small kids.
Yeah.
You know, you'd have to different delivery for the guys that are leaving, lads and lasses that are leaving, to the youngsters. But I honestly don't think, you know, you're giving them the life skills or anything like that.
Oh no, life skills.
I think there's a lot of school, certainly from my old daughter, some of the lessons and that are, you know, that have no value. It's like they spend a lot of time in school on stuff that is no value when they get
like,
out.
oh, look, my tax return's due. Oh, so I'll just square dance a bit.
Well,
that's what they taught you in school.
Well, this is what I mean. So, you know, giving them proper life skills or stuff like that.
The thing is, the people that should be teaching these lessons are the ones that have lived it, but they're not. They've got someone who's been to college, who knows nothing about it, and they're like, go and tell them about it from a book.
That's the whole point about educating them. You know, get people who've been long-term addicts.
Yeah.
People who've done a lot of time in prison.
Yeah. All these people who can't get a job.
Coppers.
They're a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, prison officers. You know, talk about. We've said a lot of kids are damaged, aren't they, in school?
Yeah.
Nowhere to go or whatever. I was amazed when I went to my daughter's school a good few years ago that they had like a team, safeguarding team. So within that school there was 9 people who didn't teach, and they were there for the kids, like almost like social workers. So if they got issues with truancy, they were dealing with all these things. However, it weren't education. They were just there. If no one, if my daughter say, you know, obviously I'm not, but if she had a problem with me, they're not going to be aware of that unless she felt she could go. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The amount of people I meet who've had problematic childhoods, but they've been fearful of going anywhere with that. Because no one talks about it. It's all.
You don't learn how to live in school. You learn how to repeat how the last people lived, and they didn't do a damn good job of it, did they? Because just look around you.
Well, you know, this is my old beef. Should be in school, teaching kids practical things.
Yeah,
when you get them as teenagers, damage is already done.
Yeah.
You know, you're limited what you can do then, aren't you?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, to be honest with you. Like, when have you ever used algebra? I mean, I can understand later on in life, if you want to go down that career path, going to college or university and learning that then. But right now, kids like don't even know how to wipe their own butts.
Yeah, you're right. So when you come out of prison, did you have trouble adjusting?
That's quite tricky, that one.
Did you want to go straight back to drugs and partying?
No, I definitely didn't want to do that, because the one thing I loved all my life was getting high and partying, and that's the one thing that took away the time. That made it easier, because the time is worth more than any of that buzz. So it was like, no, drugs definitely.
So did you have a plan? You know, when you got out, or was the plan
Yeah,
just
no.
to not party? Just
Yeah, no, I did have a plan. I didn't do any courses in jail. I spent my time writing songs, writing lyrics.
Did you do that before you went to prison?
Yeah, I did. I was doing it before, but I wasn't taking it serious. It was like after a 4-day bender, I'd do a recording and put it on YouTube, and it was awful. But I've been writing for a long time about, you know, I was an MC when I was younger at the raves. I used to, you know, write poetry and stuff. But yeah, in there, I found out that I was like okay to talk to people without drugs, and people would appreciate what I was writing and saying. When I was high, I thought I had, like, any opinion that I had wouldn't matter to anyone because I'm high. So I didn't talk to my family, I didn't talk to anyone, and then I was in there, I was straight, I was not high, and you know, I got talking to people and I got writing lyrics, and people were saying you need to do something with this, and people were coming to me for advice. You know, older people, like, you know, long time people, they were coming and asking me for advice, and it was just a game changer. So when I came out, it's like, well, I don't need the drugs to talk to people. I don't want to go back to jail. I can do something with these songs. People want to hear it, and that's what I did.
Put some links. Got a bit of a YouTube channel going.
Oh yeah, I know. I got two. The YouTube the first one from years. I haven't deleted anything. Like, basically, the first song is before I was in jail. Not even a song. It's just me like talking to a camera off my face on coke. I haven't deleted any of that.
Really?
Yeah, it's an awful channel. I haven't deleted it.
Do you mind if I put links to that?
Absolutely, yep. That's BeeJay Gade. That's the YouTube BeeJay Gade. Oh, BeeJay Gade. And after I got out, I did a few on there in the Red Room, which was the garage I had to live in at my mother's.
Yep.
And then the start of lockdown, the first one, I started a new project. It was it is called Success Tribe, and I am talking to people like all over the world, producers and singers and writers, and we've been putting stuff out on there, and it's doing well. In the year that we've been on there, we've had, I mean, close to 3,000 views, and we just put out a song for Mind Suffolk.
For the mental health.
Yeah,
charity.
for the mental health, because it sort of tied in. Yeah, it tied in with the end of lockdown coming on, and it was like a year and a year since the channel. So I started speaking to them about it. It's the first one we've put on YouTube. It's called Dark Days Success Tribe. I have no idea how to make money off it, but I'm hoping it streams that comes in. I didn't look into it that far, but I'm speaking to Mind, and yeah, that's what I'm doing now. It's like music's. The people we work with, I say, like, we talk online over at Insta, and it's like music has saved my life so many times, like, that I just need to give something back to it. I don't want to be famous, I don't want to be rich. It'd be nice to be rich, but I want to give back to the music, like, and so do they. And these are like-minded people I've met all over the world, and we're doing stuff together just to, you know, try and give something back.
You think that's quite a positive note to end on?
I hope so. Oh, no, it's a positive note to end on. He asked me to be funny. Sorry, I failed.
Do you know what? Talking about the drugs and highs and that, I feel a little, you know, almost...
You little buzz on.
Yeah, yeah. BeeJay, put links in the description. Going to be coming back sometime, and we're going to go... you basically start as a youngster, how you sort of got into that path. You were very young, and like we're saying, you know, do you think if someone had been in school telling you at 7 and 8,
yeah,
or talking about things, that you might have ended up going down a different path?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good. How do?
I'll see thee.
I'll see thee.
I'll see thee.
I can't do that in London. I'll see thee.